So we begin this week's weekly wrap up with the S&P 500 as per usual, and as we can see here, we have not done an awful lot. So let's see, where did we begin? That would have been Monday here. So we've had a quick bounce and then a drop lower. So it's almost like a quick dip, dead cat bounce back into this zone of support, which is interesting. Basically meaning we could, bounce from here, but because this is a Friday, I'm actually heading into, I think it's a long weekend. This is just one that you don't really want to be looking to try and trade at the open next week, because this will be, people buying and covering their shorts into the weekend. So I'm not overly bullish here. I'm pretty much neutral in regards to anything. There's no real clear price action. It is kind of bearish looking. If I was to have a slight, idea as to what would happen next, I'd say we possibly could sink lower into this zone. If we do start to sink into here, we do open the possibilities to much lower prices. If that's the case, then, need to really sort of pay attention here and act accordingly. Let's see. So volatility started to pick up a little bit here. Still not really something I'm overly interested in right now. If we start to perk up higher, again with the S&P, if it starts to sell off, then the volatility should start to pick up as well. So it could be some good shorting opportunities if the S&P starts to falter a bit. Now let's have a look at oil. Now this is one I haven't looked at since the last video, and what a sell-off indeed. This is... So we were looking here on last week's video. We were looking here to say, look, this is looking very bearish right now. If anything, this could go down. And with that being said, this has went down tremendously. So this is one to not have a bullish bias right now. Reason being is this whole area has been rejected very, very well over the past month or so, as we've been highlighting. So yeah, just keep an eye on oil, and in the blog post as well, keep an eye on anything that we're posting on it, and be prepared for those opportunities. Lithium has just done jack all over the past week. It has bounced a little bit, and yeah, just got rejected, and it's not overly great looking. It's not the worst looking either. We could head a bit lower before we start to see any sort of reversal, if there is a reversal. So yeah, one of those ones just to keep an eye on the back burner. Bitcoin was one I was looking to short actually a few days ago. Didn't bother doing it, so let's get rid of that. And it's starting to, especially on the lower time frames, starting to coil a bit here, which is actually bullish. So we've started to break above this trend line, which I do like. And you could say that's a bullish pennant. Very nice bullish pennant at that. So drag that out a little bit further. So it's with the trend, and it's bullish. It's got a nice coiling pattern. Starting to break out. We could come back into it, 7,800, even a bit below, if this wants to continue with the momentum. And as long as there's decent volume, there's a very good chance this could actually head a good bit higher. How much higher is anyone's guess. I would say there's a lot of shorts sitting here, with stop loss orders sitting here, and even from way back here, if no one has covered, we could see this thing perk to 9k pretty quick. And then if we do get FOMO chasers, and they hit the big round psychological 10k, it's one of those things where it could have a blow off top before really correcting back down into these sort of areas again. Just need to really be patient. I'm not looking to, add any real positions here in Bitcoin or anything. So yeah, I just wanted to keep a really close eye on it. Ripple starting to coil quite nicely. It's, let's see in the lower time frames again. If we draw in some trend lines, starting to break above this. So 1, 2, 3 touch, and then starting to break above this trend line here, which is quite nice. If that has again momentum, especially with the likes of Bitcoin or whatever, this thing could start to trend higher as well. So definitely one to keep a closer eye on going forward right now. And yeah, looks pretty good. Gold, no real bias on it. It's just up and down, and yeah, there's nothing there. Uranium, pretty much the same thing. Long-term pattern. I'm doing absolutely nothing right now. Tesla, which was an interesting one. It started to consolidate around here, and if we go back to 2016, there is a bit of support here. If we draw in quickly a rectangle of support, there's a support zone. Let's drop this up into the weekly. So if I'm going to drag this out, this is quite a strong area of support. So we had a false break below back in 2016, and the reason it's false is because it broke below and then quickly got bought up again and stayed above it. So what we could see here is could drop down into the 180s, 170s, and I'd be looking for a candle shape, something like this here. I like the candle shape actually today, or yesterday. It's really nice. Even this one's quite nice. So we are seeing a bit of deceleration here. This is pretty heavily shorted, I would say. Everyone's bearish on Tesla for whatever reason. So yeah, one of the ones to keep a close eye on. Pretty much stock of the week, and as regards to big cap. But apart from that, there is actually a nice theme starting within the crypto space, within stocks. So we're going to cover that a little bit in more detail within the weekly blog post next week. So keep your eyes peeled on that. If you're a member, you'll get access to it, and you'll see exactly what it is we're looking at, and get prepared for the opportunities, for next week and beyond. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.